Today, God is speaking directly to you. Yes, you. He sees your struggle, your silent battles, your exhaustion. He knows the moments when you've wanted to give up, when you've questioned whether things will ever change. But He is saying to you right now, hold on, I am not done with you yet. Your story isn't over. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. And if you're still breathing, it means God still has a purpose for you. So don't quit now. Keep going, because what's ahead is greater than what's behind. God sees your pain, even when no one else does. Sometimes, it feels like no one understands what you're going through, but God does. Psalm 56:8 says, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. Not a single tear has been wasted. Every pain, every struggle, every sleepless night, God sees it all. And He is not ignoring you. He is working behind the scenes even when you don't see it. Your delay is not a denial. God's timing is always perfect. When things don't happen as quickly as we want, we start to wonder if God has forgotten us. But He hasn't. Isaiah 60:22 says, "At the right time, I, the Lord, will make it happen." God's timing is not ours, but it is perfect. The delay you're facing isn't a no from God. It's a preparation. He is aligning things, strengthening you, and setting the stage for something greater. Your struggles are preparing you for something greater. Right now, you might feel like you're in a storm, but storms don't last forever. And every great testimony starts with a test. Romans 8:28 reminds us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him." What you're going through is not meant to break you, it's meant to build you. God is using this season to refine you, to strengthen your faith, and to prepare you for the blessings ahead. You are not alone. God is fighting for you. It's easy to feel abandoned when life gets tough, but God has never left you. Deuteronomy 31:8 says, "The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." Even when you don't feel His presence, He is right beside you, fighting battles you don't even see. The enemy wants you to believe you're alone, but that's a lie. The God of all creation is walking with you, protecting you, and leading you forward. Your breakthrough is coming. Keep trusting. Keep moving. God never wastes a season. What you've been praying for, what you've been waiting for, it's coming. Galatians 6:9 tells us, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Right now, you might be on the verge of your breakthrough. The enemy wants you to quit because he knows what's coming. But this is not the time to stop. Keep pushing forward. Keep believing, because your blessing is closer than you think. God's plans for you are greater than you can imagine. You may feel like your dreams are slipping away, but God's plans are bigger than yours. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." What looks like a setback is actually a setup for something greater. God's vision for your life is beyond what you can see right now. Trust that He is leading you towards something better. God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. You may feel exhausted, like you have nothing left to give, but God's strength begins where yours ends. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. You don't have to carry the burden alone. Surrender your weakness to Him and let His strength lift you up. He will give you the endurance to keep going. Your prayers are being heard. God hasn't forgotten you. It may seem like your prayers are going unanswered, but God is listening. 1 John 5:14 says, "This is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us." Just because you don't see immediate results doesn't mean God isn't working. His answers may not come in the way you expect, but they will come at the right time. God is closing the wrong doors to open the right ones. Sometimes we feel frustrated when things don't work out the way we planned, but closed doors are often God's way of protecting you. Revelation 3:7 says, "What He opens, no one can shut, and what He shuts, no one can open." If something isn't happening for you right now, it's because God has something better in store. Trust Him when He redirects your path. Your faith in this season will lead to your blessing in the next. Every trial you face is a step toward your breakthrough. James 1:12 tells us, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him." Your faithfulness today is preparing you for the blessings of tomorrow. Stay strong, because what's ahead is worth the fight. God is working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it. Right now, it might feel like nothing is changing, but God is moving in ways you don't yet understand. John 13:7 says, Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Just because you don't see the breakthrough doesn't mean it's not happening. Trust that God is arranging things in your favor, even when everything looks silent. Your storm will not last forever. God has already set an end date. No trial lasts forever. Every storm has an expiration date. Psalm 30 verse 5 reminds us, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." Your struggles are temporary, but God's promises are eternal. Hold on, because your season of struggle is about to shift into a season of blessing. What the enemy meant for evil, God will turn for your good. The hardships, betrayals, and disappointments you've faced are not wasted. God is using even the painful moments to shape your future. Genesis 50:20 says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Nothing can stop God's plan for your life. Not people, not circumstances, not even the enemy's attacks. God is turning your pain into purpose. You are not forgotten. God knows your name and your future. When you feel unseen or unheard, remember that God knows your name. Isaiah 49:16 says, "See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands." You are not just another person in the crowd. You are chosen, loved, and known by God. He has not forgotten you, and He will fulfill every promise He has spoken over your life. Your greatest test will become your greatest testimony. The thing that seems impossible right now, the challenge that feels like it's breaking you, will one day be the story of your victory. Revelation 12:11 says, "They triumphed over Him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony." Your breakthrough is coming, and when it does, you won't just celebrate. You'll inspire others with your testimony. Stay strong, because your story is not over yet. You may feel tired, you may feel like giving up, but God is not finished with you yet. The battle you're facing is not the end of your story. It's just a chapter. Hold on, stay faithful, and keep trusting, because the breakthrough, the blessing, and the victory are already on their way. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone who needs hope today. And remember, God's plans for you are greater than you can imagine. Don't give up now.